Now we turn to the common law. What is the common law? The common law is that Anglo-American system that's based on the customary practice of courts. The ruling of courts is going to be paramount in the concept of the common law. Now, the common law is found today only in places that were once occupied by the British, that either military occupation or colonization, it was imposed by the British. It was not voluntarily adopted. However, interestingly enough, no country which has the common law has been able to get rid of it or has even been willing to get rid of it. And so we see the common law, this law derived from England, but yet which plays a role in the United States, in Australia, in India, in Pakistan, the common law utilized throughout the world. Although it spread around the world in a very different manner than the civil law. There was generally some sort of military occupation or violence that led to the British influence on the country. And so very different in how it spread. Nevertheless, no country which has the common law has been willing to get rid of it. And the reason for that is that the legal system becomes a part of the culture of the society. And so with that in place, there is no desire to eliminate the system because it's part of who you are as a people. Now, the common law has distinguishing characteristics, just like the civil law. And first of all, it is a complicated mix of statutes, legislation, but also case law, the law set down by a court. And although statutes are more important than case law in a common law system is often used to interpret statutes, and therefore it takes on a meaning of its own. Another distinguishing characteristic of the common law is its use of the jury system. Now, the jury system is not as widespread in other common law countries, but it is incredibly important in the United States. The U.S. Constitution mentions juries 3 times within the Constitution. So the jury system was certainly important to the Founding Fathers and therefore has become integral to our system. Now, the common law, as opposed to the civil law, separates government and law. Meaning, remember we were talking about the civil law, we said it's very state-centered, meaning the law is what the government says is the law. In the common law, the government is something that is separate from the law, meaning the law should apply to the government in the same way that it applies to people. So the law can restrict the government in the same way that it restricts the citizens of that state. So in a civil law jurisdiction, the law is created by the government, but in the common law, we think of the law as being separate, a different thing than the government, that the law supersedes the government. Now, historically, the common law fell into these 2 branches. The first, we're concerned with what we call legal remedies. Legal remedies simply means money, monetary awards. So courts of law were concerned with legal remedies. Courts of equity were concerned with the notion of fairness, requiring litigants to do or not do something. And historically, in the United States, we had these 2 court systems operating in parallel, simultaneously. So if my neighbor is building a fence and that fence is on my property, I would go to a court of equity to say, stop them from building the fence or make them remove the fence. However, if I suffered damage, if my property was damaged by the installation of the fence, then I had to go to a court of law to recover money to compensate for the harm caused by my neighbor putting up the fence. Well, in the latter part of the 19th century and throughout the 20th century, courts of law and courts of equity were merged in the United States, and so these two branches of legal remedies and equitable remedies have now are subsumed into one overall concept. What are some of the differences between the civil law and the common law? Well, I have another video that talks about these subject areas and compares how these areas are treated in the civil law and how they are treated in the common law. Please refer to that comparison video. It's very important. And then I also have a chart to show you comparison between the different legal systems. Make sure you look at that chart. That'll be very important in terms of your exam. So in conclusion, what did we learn here? The study of different legal systems is known as comparative law. The civil law and common law are two of the important legal systems forming the overall idea of Western legal systems. There are key differences and similarities between the civil law and the common law. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.